So, right. Last session, we have discussed about this output statement and about this return keyword. And we learned that whenever in source code you add n lines of code, compiler is going to always create n plus 1 lines of code. And that n plus 1, that plus 1 line is nothing but it will add return statement in a method as an indication to CLR that it is a method termination or it is a termination of a method. So that whenever CLR executes the code, whenever it comes across with return, it will end the method execution. Method, not program execution. End method execution. If you write return manually, like in your source code, then your even in that you'll have n lines of code only. If your code is n lines, 5 lines of code, return you yourself have added, then in assembly also you'll be added by return what you have added in your program. So n lines of code will have n lines of code in compilation. I mean, up in assembly also. And another important thing, in place of void, if I write int, then remember compulsory .NET programmer has to write return statement. You should write return some value 0 or return integer value, return any number. I can say even like this also, -1818 something else valid. Standard notation we write of return 1, return 0, but not a syntax like compulsory you should write return 1, return 0 there. No, any integer value you can write, any integer value, right? But who should write return? Developer, programmer should write. Where? In source code. That is what happens. If you write void here, if you write void, then you should not write return 0. It's error. You cannot. It's a you see, you got a message now. Read the message, you'll understand. Since main returns void, a return keyword must not be followed. Return keyword must not be followed. Okay, lot of difference in understanding even these two statements. Okay, so but can we write only return? Yes, possible. Return value you should not. Return value is not valid. And now what we'll do, as already one program is written, you want to see compilation. Once program is written, how do you compile a code? Here, build menu. Here you have build demo on C# app. That is nothing but your project. Demo on C# app. That is nothing but what? Your project. Compile. If everything goes successful, then you would find. Yes, here succeeded. And you have exe file generated. Exe file nothing but what do you call it as? Assembly. You call it as assembly. And another interesting thing of this compilation, if you compile once again, that is what Visual Studio does. It won't allow you to compile your code for second time. Only if changes, it will ask you for compilation. If no changes, no compilation. Up to date, it doesn't ask you for compilation. It doesn't go for compilation. Up to date. Just make changes. Changes in the sense, just delete one semicolon, insert semicolon, means code is modified. Now build, it will go for compilation. Yes. Second time, no? Second time, as already it is compiled code. Or no compilation. No. You want to run the code, then you can go to debug. Debug menu, two types of debugging. Start debugging. And then you have start without debugging, two types. Start debugging, F5 shortcut key. Start without debugging, Control F5. If I say start debugging, you can see a difference now. If at all, I say start debugging, debug, start debugging. What happened? If I say debug, start debugging. Yes, this is output window started, output displayed. An interesting part, after displaying the output, what you notice is that output we could not see. Output displayed, but before we see that output, yeah, that window has been disappeared. Lot of difference you have. Understand that clearly, please. If I say debug, start debugging. Output window opened, output displayed, closed also. Before I see, that's what I was saying. Before I see the output, that output window is closed. How do you control that output window then? How do you stop that output window? so that I can see what output of the program. So for that we have to write console dot read key. Yes. Now same process, start debugging. Now see that whatever I said, now you get. Yes. Code got compiled, got executed, and even you can see that output is displayed, and even that output window is stopped also. Output window is stopped. You can see that output. It is stopped because of console dot what? Read key. If you now I'll remove this. Now you say debug start without debugging. Start without debugging. Now what you notice, it will execute the code, even it will display the output, even output window is stopped. All the things will happen automatically. Again I run. Compiled, executed, code is displayed, output is displayed, and it is stopping. The press any key to continue is a message which you have been now displayed automatically. And another important thing here, actually, this difference you should not say interview and all. This is not the point that you answer for it. That one will stop the output window, one will not stop the output window. That is not actually a technical difference. No, that technical difference I'll get back to you in my coming classes. As of now, I just have tried to focus on how it makes a difference when I say start debugging and start without debug. That's it. But that is, I mean, that is also one basic difference. But technically, interview point of view, you're not supposed to answer this. Okay. Coming to another point that we are going to learn now, that we are going to learn is how to add a new program now. How to add a new program. Only one program we have now, as of now. I want to go with what now? Second program, same application. So I say, remember this shortcut key. Control Alt L. No, sorry. Control plus Alt plus L. Correct. That will open Solution Explorer. That will open what? Solution Explorer. Control plus Alt plus L. You don't need to remember view menu you have view menu. Under view menu, you have an option. Solution Explorer. Same thing. Control plus Alt plus L. Now, what do you want to do in that? Yes, here you have solution. Here you have project. Now you should say right click on project, add class, add class. It will ask you class name, program name. I mean to say program name is sample. Any name you give. Click on add. Yes, new program is added. Same rules we follow. First example, what I said, unnecessary code, you delete. I don't want these all lines. Remove. Last line, I'm not interested. Now I go add your main method. How to add main method? I already said public, static, void, main. Don't write any parameters. Put your message in it. Console dot write line. Hello, one message. Semicolon. Console dot write line. Thank you. Plus, that is one more message. Semicolon. Plus, two lines of code you added. Now remember, your project has now two programs. Your project has two programs. Okay. Now if you look into these two programs, what we notice is program.cs is one program, sample.cs is another program. Now, if you compile, both programs has main method. Definitely, this will end up with compile time error. Compile no, build demo on C#. It's error. It says program has more than one entry point. Yes, same error. Program has more than one entry point. Why? Because you have main method in program.cs, even you have main method in what? Sample.cs. That will end up with confusion. Compiler is confused. Which one to compile? Then how do you explain your compiler now that though we have, like more than one entry point defined, but now you should explain that it should compile the sample.cs only. How do you explain? So for that, again, go to Solution Explorer second time. This time you should say right click on project. Earlier you added, but this time you have to go to properties. Now after going to properties, what next? You have to specify here. Here, startup object. And you should give sample bus over. Now there is no confusion for compiler. Build. That error will go now. Yes, success. Execute. output is also produced. Over. I repeat, same process, and in that I'll show you one small issue. Again, go to View menu, click on Solution Explorer. Right click on the project, add class, demo. Extension don't give, nothing will happen. .cs, it will automatically take. Then same, unnecessary code, unwanted code. This, all these lines, unnecessary. Initial stages, you don't need them at all. It's of no use. Delete. Last one, extra flower bracket. Delete. Control KD to rearrange the code. To rearrange the code. Now what to do? Same class demo. Go for main method. I'll add public static void main block open console dot write line. Welcome to C# programming. Semicolon console dot write line. Hello. Semicolon. That's two lines you added. Good. What next after this? What is it you're looking forward now? As I already said you, if everything is set, I said you to change first provide startup project. What do you need to provide? Startup project, startup object. How do you provide startup object? Same. Go to Solution Explorer. Again, say right click on the project. Again, go to Properties. After going to Properties, you'll have here startup object. Program name, don't forget, it's demo. Class name is also demo. Okay, but now if you notice an interesting point here, if you notice, click on it, you don't find demo there. It's not there. You have program and sample, only two. Demo you don't have. Why? Why you don't have? Only one, because of one small mistake. We don't find them. And that is main method. M is missing here. Yes, capital M it should be. Now you go again to same location, same part. Here you see demo will be available. Yes. Select the demo. Now compile. Yes. Now run the code. I should get this output now. Yes. Now typing this, when you type the code, these problems may happen. Just because of one M, which was found to be like I typed in small letter, complete meaning has been changed, and you don't find that it's available in a startup option. For that reason, we have been given with some special things to learn now. Add a new program. I'll demonstrate now. Add again class. This time class name I'll call test. Click on add. Same rule. Unnecessary code you remove. Rearrange. Now what you do, don't type your program as we have typed everything earlier. Now we will try to do all this stuff automatically. How? Type public. You want to have static, then void, then main. Press tab key for 2 times. Your code is generated. Now you want console.writeline? CW. Press tab key. Put your message. Hi. Console.writeline. Bye. That's it. And you can see code has become simple. What did you do? To to write console.writeline, you don't need to put your complete statement. Just say CW, press tab key, you got a console.write. Type SVM, you got a static void main. Over. This is what you call in C sharp as code snippets. Code snippets. So that what will happen? Your code becomes easy in writing. Debug, go for execution. Done. Done. Over. Output is produced. Many code snippets are there. Code snippets. Many are there. Many. This is one part. Now, coming to the second part is now question how to develop a program or how to write a C sharp program where you understand these implementations without Visual Studio. This is with the studio we have written compilation, writing, everything with the Visual Studio. Now, what I'm saying, we want to do same thing, but this time, what do you want? Without. You don't want to use Visual Studio. How do you write a program where you want to develop without using Visual Studio. Right? So now what you do, first close this Visual Studio completely. Now remember, in order to communicate with C# program, the two without writing. In what? Visual Studio. So for that reason, what Microsoft has done, here I have a software installed. You can find that folder. Uh, Visual Studio. Here. Folder will be there. Visual Studio. Where it is? Here. Visual Studio 2017 folder. Expand. Yes. Second you have. Second. You have special folder now. Developer command prompt for developer command prompt for what? VS 2017. Now when I go for the execution of it, see, same thing I'll do. Click on this. Yes, developer command prompt. Now it's opening. This is also one tool you can say. One tool. Yes, here it is. Developer command prompt. Visual Studio 2017 developer command. Yes. Now once you remember, no, we have already yesterday one folder we created. Right? We'll go to that folder. CD root, CD, CS batch 6 PM. Yes. Here I'll write my program here in this folder. Now how do you write? Since there is no Visual Studio, everything you have to manage. Now I use Notepad, some program, testing.cs. Now everything you have to remember now. Yes, using system, class testing, block open. Then we write everything. Public static void main, block open, close. Now here you should write console dot write line. Welcome. Again I say console dot write line. C# programming. That's it. C# program. Now what to do? There is no build menu. There is nothing like compilation. There is no build menu, nothing. And how do you compile? As I said, you have to manage everything with command prompt. Close this window. Even if it is open, nothing will happen. Close. Now you already have a file, testing.cs. You want to compile? Go for it. CSC, C sharp compiler. Program name testing.cs, CSC, C sharp compiler. Enter. Compile. C sharp compiler. Now you want to see what is happening. You have here assembly testing.exe compiled code. Now how do you run a code? Direct file name testing, output is produced. Here testing is our program executed. Which is source code? Which is executable code now? Which is source code? Testing.cs is source code. What is testing.exe? Assembly. Exe file. Exe file is what? Assembly. What is the assembly contains? Hope you remember. I said in my introduction classes, it contains CIL code. It contains what? CIL code. How to check that CIL code? How to check? What is the approach? So remember one thing, especially for this to check that CIL code, whichever is what do you call generated by your compiler. How do you check this? Actually, we will discuss about this in detail in my coming classes because introduction classes may I discussed about reverse engineering. I said about this reverse engineering. So, however, this topic is there, but as of now, I'm showing you this only to highlight that how is it we are going to have or how to view what CIL code. So there is one special file called ILDASM, Intermediate Language Disassembler. Intermediate language what? disassembler. Intermediate language. Which file? Testing. .exe. Enter. One window gets opened now. Yes. Now expand testing. This is your main method. Double click. Yes, you can see. Here it is very clearly mentioned. CIL code. Remember one more thing. CIL code is also called managed code. CLR executes managed code. CLR targets managed code. CLR targets managed code. Difference you see. Last line also you see. RET. Return. End of the method. Another speciality, another speciality. Even I don't have source code. When assume that accidentally source code is deleted. Accidentally source code is deleted. Nothing to worry. Even source code is deleted. Even though source code is deleted, what else you can do? You can still run the code. Do you understand? These are the things that we have for your basic things in your C#. Hope you are all clear of this. Anand, do you understand everything what we have studied?
Sir, but why we are using the developer command mode, sir, instead of Visual Studio?
That is also one way. Instead of always
Okay.
people depending on Visual Studio, situations like arises even without Visual Studio also there is a possibility of writing a program.
Okay.
Only one other way I mean to say. Srinivas, was it clear everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Clear.
Okay then. Right. Now, these all are there. Probably